Hey, it's James, Father's Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. I did a video the other day about contempt, and somebody in the comments said that the judge denied it and was talking about how corrupt the judges are. Here's the thing. 100% of the people who have told me they lost a contempt motion didn't argue it right. So it's usually guaranteed that part of the problem is you're not arguing it right. Now, sometimes the judges are going to rule whatever they're going to rule, but as a person who's won contempt and fought off contempt and had clients win contempt over and over again, now, again, haven't won 100% of everything I've ever done, and neither has any of my clients. But you still got to learn to fight the right way. So on a contempt motion, I would be telling the court, Your Honor, look, number one, you made a court order. Well, first of all, I would tell a judge, why should I have to tell another parent, hey, you really should let me see our kid? Nobody should have to tell a parent that that's what a child needs. But for some reason, we got this set up in America where we got to go to court to get an order to see our own kids because the other parent doesn't think our children need that, when all the science and data says that. So it's crazy to me that we even have to come to court. But once we go to court and the court grants an order, the other parent should be following that order. If the other parent doesn't follow the order, then what good is the court? What's the point of the court system? You know, if you order me to pay child support and I say, well, I'm just not going to do it, are you going to let that slide? Of course not. We see people found in contempt all the time of child support. We see people go to jail for not paying child support. And here we are. I'm dealing with the mother of my child who withheld the child before the court order. After I get a court order, she withholds the child. How much more important is love than child support money? Money and provision comes with love. But if that child just gets money and the court only enforces money orders and the transfer of money, what's the point? We have all kinds of statutes and laws that talk about the basic fundamental need of a child or children need. There's a presumption that children need 50-50 of frequent and continuing contact. That's because all the data and all the science says children suffer without both parents, unless a parent is a risk or a danger. So that being said, this courthouse enforces child support orders all the time. The mother is doing something way worse than me withholding child support. The court is compelled to coerce her to comply with its orders. Your Honor, you would never tolerate somebody standing up in the middle of this courtroom and interrupting the court or cursing you out or cursing something. You would tell them to sit down and be quiet, and they got one warning or they're going to be held in contempt. Boom, you might throw them in jail if they do it again. And then they smart off to you on the way to jail. You might add more time. If you order someone to go to jail because they've been convicted, you know, the jury says, we find the defendant guilty of assault or rape or whatever. You order the sheriff to take him to jail. What if the sheriff doesn't obey your order? That would be appalling. You would be offended. You would be appalled. You would either immediately get that sheriff fired or have another sheriff escort him out and he would never be in your courtroom again. You have a zero tolerance policy for contempt that happens in your courtroom. How come you don't have the same policy? Or you should have, if this is the first time I'm doing contempt, I would entice them first. You should have a policy, a zero tolerance policy, when a mother starves a child of the love and affection of another parent. It's the most vital thing that they need in life. Outside of food, water, and air, there's nothing more important than my relationship with that child, to the child. And if they jump in and say, wait a minute, what about the mother? How come you're the only one? I said, I didn't say the mother wasn't as important. I said, there's nothing more important. She's equally important. Don't put words in my mouth, please. And the Code of Judicial Conduct says that you're supposed to maintain the public's confidence in the judicial system. If you don't do that, then our democracy falls apart. It's actually a constitutional republic, but the Code of Judicial Conduct says this. And if you guys would be reading everything I tell you to read, you would know how to argue this stuff. Because if you read the Code of Judicial Conduct and read the preamble, it says some standards that the judges are supposed to follow, but nobody ever holds them to it because nobody ever tells them this stuff because we're all scared and we got our panties in a bunch and we're worried what the judge will think if we tell them what their job is. You're your own catch-22 problem. Your answer is to tell them what they need to do, and you're scared to tell them what they need to do, so you lose in court all the time. Your fault. And the judges stay corrupt because nobody checks them. See, we're all sitting back complaining about corruption, and the judges don't do this and they don't do that, and we never tell them what they're doing wrong. And we never tell them about their ethical standard. We never tell them about their hypocrisy. If this court doesn't find the mother in contempt, I guess your court orders don't matter, so I could just stop paying child support then. But you would immediately throw me in jail, or you'd give me a warning and throw me in jail because the court has a high priority money. Now, I know it's because of the Title 4D bonus money that goes into a slush fund that goes into your retirement account, so you have a financial motive to enforce child support orders. But you took an oath to uphold the Constitution. You have the Code of Judicial Conduct to maintain the public's confidence in the judicial system. We voted you in as a public servant to serve us and our laws and apply our laws. And the law says, like in Washington State, the best interest of the child, that under the best interest opening statute of RCW 26.09.002, the state recognizes the fundamental importance of the parent-child relationship to the welfare of the child. So you entered a court order to the welfare of the child, and then now you're not going to enforce it. The whole purpose of contempt is to coerce compliance. All I want is to have a relationship with my kid. I had to come to court to tell a grown adult, you should let the father see their own kid. Now that we have a court order, what else is there to do except contempt to coerce compliance? You have the power to get her to follow your orders or this court's orders. This court also, here's the thing, Your Honor, this court entered an order that's the best interest of the child. Now, I think I should have more visitation, or, you don't even have to say that, but you're supposed to do this in the best interest of the child according to the law. When you enter an order, it's assumed you do what's in the best interest of the child. And so you have to do what's in the very best, not the halfway best, not the almost, not good enough, not, well, this is enough to get by, better safe than sorry, this is a bare minimum. You have to do the very best optimum for a child because you're going to release the child into society under that court order. And if you don't do what's best for a child, that child could end up dysfunctional, mentally ill, juvenile, delinquent, whatever. So you ordered an order that's what's best for the child. How come, and the mother won't follow it? If it's best for a child to go to the doctor, the dentist regularly, and to eat healthy fruits and vegetables, and the mother doesn't do that, you would call her neglectful and say she doesn't look out for the child or care for the child. You have a court order that's what's best for the child, time with me, and she violates it. How come you're not offended at that? You should be offended that she violated your order, defied you, is flipping you off and thumbing her nose at you, and worst of all, she's defying what's best for the child, and she doesn't even care. Now, if your court order is what's best for the child, and this court is supposed to do what's best for the child, then this court should enforce its own orders like it would enforce any other order of somebody standing up interrupting the court, of a sheriff refusing to take somebody off to jail, of somebody not paying child support, of somebody violating their probation terms. You have harsher punishments. Why would you let somebody off here? The only explanation that could be possible is if you're dealing with a mother, is being part of that group. There's that fringe radical group of radical feminism that says fathers shouldn't be involved in kids' lives and we don't need fathers. The only reason you would enforce a court order and maintain the integrity of the court and the power and authority of the court, the only reason you wouldn't do that is because of some fringe group's bigotry toward a father or man. This is your court order. This is a child that needs this for that child's own health, welfare, and development. The whole purpose of contempt is to coerce compliance with an order, and she's defying the order. If you don't enforce the order is of no use or of no good. And what good is the court? The court's existence is moot. What's the purpose of the court existing if you can write an order and you don't hold somebody accountable for it? We hold somebody accountable in every other area of court orders and court enforcement. You should do it for the welfare of a child. The most important thing in the world, everybody knows, is love and relationships and affection. It's a billion, there's not even a number on it, trillion times more important than money. We all know that. Enforce the most important thing, and that's in the best interest of the child. So those are some bare minimum off the top of my head arguments that none of you ever make that you should be